Well, if I tell you a little bit about deep state repatterning to start off with, it's a technique that's based on NLP, EFT, inner child work, and in a way soul retrieval, because I think that's kind of a very interesting concept. And the why, I would say, about deep state repatterning and working with ancestors is because I always use and have one idea in my mind when I'm working with a person is, does this work? Does this get results? And that's all I'm really thinking about. And I have found that this approach gets some really, really good results with people, even when you're working on very difficult problems. So, and why might you want to go down the ancestral line? Because, I mean, do we really know they're working with ancestors? No, not really. But we use that concept to enable them to get into the deeper unconscious stuff. So in a way, you could see it as a concept that just allows a person to get into the deeper unconscious stuff. You could see it as an approach that's very metaphorical. But whatever way you choose to see it is an approach that begins to allow you to get at the deeper layers of issues and allows the person to get at things that perhaps they are not aware are there. What is deep state repatterning? It is a dissociative approach, because we want to create a safe place for people to work with the deeper things that are going on for them. Because sometimes people truly do avoid it if they're aware of it. They avoid it because maybe it doesn't feel safe to go there. So we use an approach that creates a sense of safety for the person. So how would we do that? We actually enable them, we create a dissociation, and we create that by allowing them to see whoever they're working with on a screen. Now, why is that interesting? Why does that help? Well, let's do a little bit of screen work. Let's have a little play with screens here. I want you, just for a moment, to imagine a screen in front of you. I want you, however, to put on that screen the most fabulous moment in your life. I want you to see the most fabulous experience you have ever experienced in your life on that screen. And as you do that, I want you to move the screen closer to you. And just notice what happens for you. So did anyone notice any effect when they did that, when they brought that screen closer, really close to themselves? Anyone notice what happened to you? Mm-hmm. Some of you did.
I noticed the feelings intensified, the feelings, and the colours were brighter.
So the feelings intensified when you brought it closer. Yeah. Put that screen further away from you. In fact, put it a long way away from you. And what happens to those feelings now?
The intensity decreases significantly.
Significantly, yeah. And I want you now to bring the screen to the distance it was before from you. And I want you to shrink the screen. What happens to your feelings now?
The feelings stay the same, actually. It kind of changes a bit. I'm not quite in touch with the shrinking it. Maybe I don't want to shrink it.
Different things affect different people, and we're looking at your kind of controls over that screen, So put it back to the size it was before. I want you to turn the colour off of that screen. What happens now?
The feelings definitely, the feelings go down. The intensity is decreased again. So the intensity of the feelings decrease when you take the screen down. Now I want you to put it back to the normal natural colours and at the normal natural distance that you started with. And you might even choose to bring it a bit closer. So that you kind of get a real good feeling. What and thank you for that, thank you very much. What I'm just demonstrating is that by using a screen, you can take the person out of the experience because they can see themselves on that screen, but you then have a level of control over the emotions that the person feels. So we can use a screen in our EFT approach, and we can minimize the emotions by taking that screen further away, and we can put the control in that person's hands. All right, you have those screens over there, and you have control over those screens. I want you to have a guess what you could see on that screen if you were able to see that event for you, kind of 3 ancestral lines or whatever, all that way back.
I want you to have a guess what you could see there. And with yourself, I want you to have a guess what you would be looking at if you could see that event that is connected to this issue on that screen right now. And just go with whatever your mind presents to you. It is about beginning to trust the unconscious mind. Yeah? All right. So what are you able to see? What's there for you?
I can see a male figure who looks like my father.
Mm-hmm.
And some other like family around about him, and they appear to be wearing like a sackcloth. My father is Irish, and I imagine it looks like some kind of crisis or distressing time where they're very much in a situation where there's survival issues.
All right. Who is the person we need to work with on that screen?
The male, I think, that looks like my father.
All right. So we're working with a male, yeah?
Mm-hmm,
What emotionally is going on for him? Have a guess on that.
I think he's in survival mode. He's very anxious. It's a situation where he doesn't have much control over it, and they appear to be moving. So they're not in a home situation. They appear to be without a home or travelling.
So he feels very anxious and not in control of that situation.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's moving and there's something causing him possibly to move. Yeah. All right. So, and just check with yourself what's going on for you.
Well, it's a young woman of about sort of late 20s, early 30s, and she's on the floor and cowering. There's a man towering over her. I think it's her husband, but he's shouting and really angry and aggressive towards her, and she's sort of holding her arm up as if she's going to fend off a blow.
So is it her we're working with or him?
I think it's her.
All right. So put it far enough away from you to allow you to remain safe here in this room, yeah? And you're totally in control of that. And you can turn the colour off if you wish.
Yeah, colour's off.
All right, good. Gone back to black and white, have we? Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, and with yours, it's anxious, and I'm going to do some tapping. I want you to tap, but you're tapping on your issue, but you can tap along with Mary here.
Okay.
All right, and allow whatever happens to happen, yeah? And let's just go with this. So even though, yeah, he felt so anxious.
He felt so anxious.
He didn't feel in control.
He didn't feel in control.
Because he was moving.
Because he was moving.
I completely.
I
totally. Love and approve of him.
Love and approve of him.
Anyway.
So
even though.
He
just felt so anxious.
He felt so anxious.
Yeah. He didn't feel in control.
He didn't feel in control.
And he had all these emotions around that.
I need all these emotions around about that.
I completely. I totally. Love and approve of him.
Love and approve of him.
Anyway. So even though. He just felt so anxious.
He felt so anxious.
Put it further away, yeah?
Yeah.
He didn't feel in control.
He didn't feel in control.
Because he was moving. I completely. I totally. Love and approve of him. Anyway. Yeah? On the eyebrow, he just felt so anxious.
He felt so anxious.
Yeah. Side of the eye, he didn't feel in control. Yeah. Under the eye, because he was moving. Yeah. Under the nose, and he was just so anxious about that.
He was so anxious about that.
On the chin. Yeah, he just didn't feel in control.
He didn't feel in control.
On the collarbone, and he didn't feel in control.
He didn't feel in control.
Put it further away, yeah?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you okay with that?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
And put it as far enough away from you now. Then.
Yeah.
What's going on now for you?
I feel a bit more, I feel I'm giving this father, person that looks like my father, a bit of healing and a bit of help, and that's helping me